Hi guys,
Hello,
I'm
Sarah.
Sarah from The Upcoming. So lovely to chat with you.
Hi, Sarah.
Thanks for your time, Sarah.
Maybe you could just kick off by letting us know what fans can expect then from the second season of Trying.
Yeah, so in the first season, you have this couple who are trying to adopt a child because they've been unfortunately unable to conceive naturally. They go through the very laborious process of being approved by different bodies, and they were lucky enough to achieve that in the first season. And now, in the second season, when you find them, they're being matched with trying to be matched with a child. But there is a lot of competition for quite a small pool of children. So much hilarity and heartbreak in equal measure ensues.
And what I love about this series is it's sort of in the great British tradition of humor, tackling tragedy with comedy. So what was it that attracted you to be in the series generally and coming back for a second time? It seems, a wickedly funny script, but also incredibly relatable.
Yeah, well, I think it's exactly that. It's so lovely to read something that makes you laugh and cry almost on the same page. And when I first read the script, I couldn't stop turning the pages because I wanted to know what happens to them. And I think that's such a good sign of good writing. And so inevitably you want to be part of that. And when I read the character of Nikki, I found her so relatable. And I just knew that I wanted to be part of telling this story, a story that's not necessarily, highlighted, a subject matter that's not necessarily highlighted, but I think dealt with in such a kind, sensitive way, but also, as you say, with that humour. And I think, it was just a bit of a no-brainer to do it and then come back for a second series, see where these people go, spend more time with these people. And it's just, also selfishly, it's such a joy of a job. Like, I really enjoy coming to work every day, and hanging out with Rafe
Rafe.
Spall. Rafe Spall.
Forgot my name.
That's
She didn't even know my name. She did.
the Rafe Spall.
She called me
Yeah.
Ralph, Rafe, Ralph. Called me Rafe Fiennes the other day. I said, well, you'd be lucky.
Confused.
And just picking up on some of the things you mentioned there, do you think it's becoming less taboo to talk about fertility issues and kind of the challenges of parenting? And there seems to be kind of a flurry of comedies, in that space, thinking of Catastrophe and Breeders. And how is it that comedy can kind of help us navigate these difficult topics?
Yeah, well, you're right. I think it's starting to become less taboo to talk about it, infertility. I do still think we could go further with it. I think sometimes it's something that I don't know why because it's such a sensitive subject matter. I think, particularly as a female, particularly at a certain age in your 30s, and trying to navigate all that, especially when you've got, when everyone's doing their life in very different ways and everyone's got different blueprints, and it shouldn't be something that we should shy away from talking about. And also adoption, I feel like it's something that I didn't necessarily know a lot about until doing this show. But of course that happens. It happens quite a lot to people going through that process. Or it's nice to have be educated more on that. I am so sorry, I completely forgot your question. I was rambling.
No, just saying that comedy can help us tackle these things. I was thinking almost like how Bridget Jones did for single women back in the 90s. This is almost like the next layer.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's so important because also, life is funny. Even in hard times, life can be fucking hilarious, even if you're kind of like in your pit crying. You're just kind of like, there's also something really hilarious about that in some kind of weird, dark way. And I think it's needed to relate. We can all relate to that. Yeah.
Well, you don't want it if you're going through an issue that is addressed in the show, you want it. You don't want it to just be bloody miserable, because you're quite aware of how miserable that is. You live with that every day, and whether you necessarily want to see that misery reflected back at you in a sort of cold way, to me, it wouldn't be necessarily attractive. But if you can relate and get people to relate through comedy, there's a comfort in it. It makes it better because you're going, well, I'm not alone. Oh, thank goodness. I'm not alone. Oh, and it's okay to laugh about it. In fact, it's a medicine, and that's really important and an integral part of the show.
Mm. I think I'm out of time, sadly, but thank you so much for chatting to me about all that, and congratulations on the next season. Thank you so much.